there is so much more that is lined up for you, and we are looking forward to this partnership with Federal Bank here at our Prime Time Studios, the CNN News 18 and Federal Bank Prime Time Studios. Let's get to the big story here on this edition of The Right Stand. The 2024 Lok Sabha elections witnessing intense and high-octane campaigns by political parties, especially the BJP, spearheaded by Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself. And this change of tone and tenor and getting aggressive at the opposition's manifesto and intent has happened post-phase 1. Prime Minister Modi launching a multi-pronged attack at the Congress party and its manifesto, from wealth redistribution to this entire Muslim quota game to the inheritance tax angle. PM Modi has gone all out against the Congress party, so much so that the Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge has written a letter to the Prime Minister saying none of this is happening. But while addressing a rally, Prime Minister Narendra Modi yet again stepped up that attack for giving quota to Muslims under the OBC and the BC, that is the backward classes and backward classes category. OBC category, especially in Karnataka. Backward classes, that's what's been used in Andhra Pradesh. Escalating the attack on the Congress party. Prime Minister invoking inheritance tax, claiming that the Rajiv Gandhi government abolished the inheritance tax in 1985 to avoid paying it on the property he himself had inherited. Now, he went on to accuse the Congress of hatching a deep conspiracy to snatch people's wealth and distribute it among a select group. The Congress defending Karnataka's 4% reservation for Muslims under the backward classes category in Karnataka and said that the quota was implemented 3 decades ago and subsequent BJP governments have never questioned or challenged it in court. The Congress has accused the BJP of spreading lies and creating communal divide. Let's first listen into what the Prime Minister said.
कांग्रेस सरकार ने कर्नाटका में जितने भी मुस्लिम समाज के लोग हैं, अगर वो मुसलमान है तो उन्होंने रातों रात एक कागज निकालकर हस्ताक्षर करके उन सबको ओबीसी घोषित कर दिया। अपनी माता इंदिरा गांधी से मिले हुए पैसों को बचाने के लिए उस समय के प्रधानमंत्री श्रीमान राजीव गांधी ने अपनी संपत्ति बचाने के लिए पहले जो इनहेरिटेंस कानून था उसको समाप्त किया और खुद के पैसे बचा लिए। शाही परिवार के शहजादे पूरे देश में बढ़ चढ़कर के कह रहे हैं अब आपकी संपत्ति का एक्सरे होगा, एक्सरे। और साथियों, ये एक्सरे करके आपको लूटने की योजना बना रहे हैं।
Taking the wealth away from the so-called wealthy and redistributing it or appropriating it into the state exchequer. Has this not happened in the past? Before we get into the debate, let's take a look at some historical instances that Congress-led UPA has taken when it was at power at the center. First up, the bank nationalization itself. Nationalization of the 14 largest banks by an ordinance in 1969. Indira Gandhi commenced on the path which led to financial ruin because 20 years later, just 2 decades later, there had to be a major financial restructuring because we were all in doldrums. The Supreme Court upheld the nationalization but struck down the absurd method of calculating the compensation that was to be paid. To make matters worse for the banks, this paltry compensation was then to be paid in bonds that matured after 10 years. This decision was unfortunately projected as an indication of the judiciary being pro-rich and against the poor. Again, narrative management. The constitution was later amended. So, constitution was amended, enabling expropriation of property on payment of any amount. So, one of the many 100-odd instances plus where the constitution had been amended between 47 and 2014, ladies and gentlemen. The privy purses, that's the other instance. At the time of independence, 555 princely states covered 48% of the territory of undivided India and 28% of its population. Now, here's what critics say. Under the Indian Independence Act 1947, each ruler had the option of either acceding to the dominion of Bharat or India or Pakistan or continuing as independent sovereign state. It was a Herculean effort of VP Menon and Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel that persuaded the rulers to sign instruments of accession or instruments of merger in return for surrendering their powers. Articles 291 and 362 guaranteed them a tax-free privy purse, which was approximately just 1/4 of what they had earlier earned. It was 1/4, 25% of what they had earlier earned. This is for merging with Bharat, and this is what was promised under Acts of the Constitution at Articles 291 and 362. The abolition of the privy purses was a constitutional betrayal, yet again done under the Congress regime. Then, calls to repeal the Waqf Act. This is again what critics have to say. 1995, Waqf Act 1995. This has become very, very shrill of late, but there's been little done on ground. The total amount of Waqf estates across the country, ladies and gentlemen, 3,56,005, 356,005. That's the total number of estates, Waqf estates. A large number of them are in Karnataka. Immovable properties, 8,72,226. Movable properties, 16,713. The area, a total of 9.4 lakh acres. Now, here's the criticism. Despite vast land holdings, the third largest landowner in Bharat, after the army, armed forces, the railways, it's the Waqf board. It's the Waqf, not any Hindu institution. The Waqf board often serves the interests of the elite among the Muslims, the Ashrafis. They have been accused of neglecting the needs of the ordinary and marginalized Muslims, particularly the marginalized Pasmanda Muslims. So, has the Karnataka government thought about reappropriating all of this Waqf property and giving it to the backward classes, as they call it, or the Pasmandas? Allegations of corruption and mismanagement plague the Waqf board, with instances of fund misappropriation and property seizure undermining transparency and accountability. Waqf properties fail to generate sufficient profits, indicating poor management and inefficiency in utilizing assets to address the community needs. Special privileges granted to Waqf boards create social tensions, especially affecting Pasmanda Muslims, and exacerbate the fault lines within communities. Now, a lot has also been said when it comes to this entire quota debate, this quota game. Community, caste and class. It's a tricky cocktail, ladies and gentlemen. The BJP and the Congress have been at loggerheads. Now, here's what the Constitution actually says. The Constituent Assembly debate notes this. When the Constitution of India was being drafted by the Constituent Assembly, discussion on minority rights was a key feature in the debate. The debates concluded by providing reservations and affirmative action only for backward classes and not religious minorities. It was class of people who were educationally, economically backward, not because of a particular belonging to a particular religious denomination. What the Constitution says, clause 16/4, nothing shall prevent the state from making any provision for reservation of appointments or posts in favor of any backward class of citizens which, in the opinion of the state, is not adequately represented in the services under the state. Clause 15/4, nothing in the clause 2 of Article 29 shall prevent the state from making any special provision for advancement of any socially or educationally backward classes of citizens or for SC/ST. The class denomination, ladies and gentlemen, as we say Namaste and Jai Hind to all our guests this evening, has been largely for castes which are socially and economically backward. So this caste community tricky cocktail also we'll debate headlong. Let's dive in. Sardar R.P. Singh, national spokesperson of the BJP with us. Rohit Mitra, political analyst who backs the Congress party with us. Dr. Anand Ranganathan, scientist, author, political commentator, author of a book which says why Hindus are 8th class citizens in our country. He's talked about the Waqf board and the Waqf Act there. Javed Ansari, senior journalist with us, and Abhijit Iyer Mitra, senior fellow IPCS, should join us very, very soon. So what's the intent here? Let's ask that question outright. Sardar R.P. Singh, one of the criticisms is that this entire under OBC quota for Muslims has been there for 3 decades. Why is the BJP waking up to it now?
Well, it's not waking up to the whole of the issue now, Anand. It was when we were in government in Karnataka, the Bombay government approached the Supreme Court and then has filed their petition there, filed their application there. But court has taken a different stand on that, and still the decision has to still to come on that. Final decision has to still come. But let's understand, when you open this door of providing class reservations for Christians and Muslims, that will lead to conversion. Let me give you a perspective from Punjab today. Today, Punjab otherwise is almost turning into a Christian state with 20% population. Not me, it's one of their pastors who claims that we have converted 20% Punjab into Christian. And if they open up this, probably then people will convert very fast, and then probably Punjab will be out of hand, and Punjab will not be a sixth state or will not have the sixth there. Even today, every village has a church, and every roof has a cross on the villages also, in the villages also. So something of this sort will happen in other states also. I mean, when Muslim or Christians, I mean, by religion, they don't believe in caste. They don't, and that's the reason they ask people to convert that since we don't believe in caste, so you can convert into being a Muslim or being a Christian. So then, and then, as you said, even constitutionally, they are not provided for. I mean, constitution doesn't allow any religious
both Christian groups in Bharat and Islamic groups, Islam groups or Muslim groups in Bharat are hugely sectarian. There are many sectarians. The fact that there is a Dalit Christian in Tamil Nadu and there is a huge separate churches for them itself is testimony. The Andhra Pradesh movement itself secludes and identifies 14 sects of Muslims in its own thing, in its own classification of backward classes in Andhra Pradesh. So what is this whole game? If it is not sectarian, if it is supposed to be, and the whole conversion rhetoric itself is that will pull you out of caste, then you go back and say, no, I want a quota back in the same category. Rohan.
Anand, good evening, first of all, and good evening to all my panelists. Anand, first and foremost, Mr. Singh forgets the man who implemented the bill which we are talking about in Karnataka is a coalition partner who they are sharing seats with in Karnataka. It was Mr. Devegowda when he was the Chief Minister of Karnataka, when he was the one who took this move about putting the Muslims into this category. So why is the Congress being blamed? You know, this whole debate, the Congress party has not even spoken anything which it has been accused of. You're talking about Muslims, you're talking about redistribution of wealth, you're talking about inheritance tax. None of this is mentioned anywhere in the Congress's manifesto. We have been very clear about this. If you, when you were opening your show, Anand, you said right after the first phase of the election, the tenor, the tone of the Prime Minister's campaign has changed. He was in Rajasthan when he made the choice of words. I don't think the Prime Minister of India should have used those choice of words, but he blamed the Congress that we want a Muslim appeasement. We are trying to make the women of India, the Hindu women of India, sell their Mangal Sutra, sell their gold. Where does he get this from? Isn't it the job of the news media to fact check on all these questions that the Prime Minister is raising? Yesterday it was about the inheritance tax, which Mr. Sam Pitroda brought up. Today the Prime Minister is answering the same thing, that it was Mr. Rajiv Gandhi who abolished the inheritance tax. You want to question Mr. Rajiv Gandhi's reasons behind abolishing the inheritance tax, but you are forgetting when Mr. Jayant Sinha was the MOS Finance, Mr. Amit Malviya, he has deleted the tweet, but it is there in the timeline today. You can find it. It's there all over social media. These are the people who were backing of the idea of bringing the inheritance tax. So all these things are just a way to, take the focus out of the manifesto of the Congress, where we are talking about giving jobs to undergrads and diploma holders, to give 1 lakh rupees to the women.
आपके इसका एक्सरे होगा, आपकी संपत्ति का एक्सरे होगा, एंड यहाँ से जिसके पास जातीय जनगणना होगी उसमें से किसके पास कितना पैसा है, वो पैसे का पूरा फाइनेंशियल सर्वे होगा और फिर जिसको उसकी ज़रूरत है उस पैसे को, जिसकी जितनी संख्या बारी हिस्सेदारी, उसको उस तरह से दिया जाएगा. It's not me, sir. It is not me. It is not me. If this is not part of the Congress manifesto, then you please then question and fact check the leader who you believe is talking out of his hat. But Sardar RP Singh, please respond to what Rohan Mitra is saying, that Jayant Sinha in the past has spoken about bringing back inheritance tax, although it never saw light of day beyond his proposition. But Amit Malviya is on record tweeting about it, advocating it.
Well, I'll come to that also, but let me just fact check from the manifesto of the Congress party, page number 24, para number 5. It categorically states more women and persons belong to minorities. It says SC, ST, OBCs and minorities will be appointed as judges of the High Court and Supreme Court. Let me take it further. Page number 8, para number 7, Congress will ensure that like every citizen, minorities have freedom of choice of dress, food good enough, language good enough, and personal laws. What do you mean by all this? You are not talking about making for building up or making some teachers or some engineers. You are talking about judges. You want to influence the judiciary also, and then for them, if you say, they can say that, oh, minority doesn't mean Muslim.
Does the
you have minority commission in the country? I give a challenge. Give me a second. You have a minority commission in the country. I give a challenge. They have never appointed any Sikh as minority commission chairman till date. Neither the vice chairman of the minority commission. This clearly shows what for them minority mean only second largest majority in the country. So nothing wrong. And then they want to bring the personal law back. So this clearly shows what the overall bigger narrative, the bigger picture, and then things fit into whatever Mr. Rahul Gandhi says, whatever the manifesto is.
You have the manifesto in your hand. Does the Congress manifesto? Does the Congress manifesto say we will abolish CA? Does the Congress manifesto say we will abolish or we will roll back the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita? Does the manifesto say that we will roll back one of the acts that have been passed in the interest of the farmers, the 5 acts that Mr. P. Chidambaram named, that we are going to roll back when we come to power? Is that mentioned in the manifesto? Rohan Mitra, is that mentioned in the Congress manifesto?
Anand, again you're going back. See, you're asking the opposition party.
No, I am asking you, you just talked about, where are these things in our manifesto? We are not even talking about it. You just said that, so I am asking you, are these things in your manifesto? Your manifesto technically is supposed to talk about 5 guarantees. Then who are these people who are talking out of their hat? And why are they saying so? Why did they say it just ahead of Tamil Nadu going to polls when they said we will roll back CA? Why did Mr. P. Chidambaram say it? With what intent? Why is Mr. Rahul Gandhi saying आपकी संपत्ति का एक्सरे होगा? With what intent? तुम्हारा नाम यह है, तुम्हारे मालिक का, तुम किस कंपनी में काम करते हो, तुम्हारे मालिक का नाम यह है, इसीलिए तुम्हारी ये हालत है. Why is he saying that? Why is he standing in Hyderabad and saying कि आप सबको लूटा गया है, आप सबको पैसा देंगे, जिसके पास पैसा है उससे पैसा लेकर आपको पैसा देंगे? Who is he talking to? So they are free to say whatever they want, which is not part of your manifesto. But if somebody else uses their words and say, look, this is what they intend to do, then you're questioning that. How does that work?
My problem is we are not the incumbent party which has been in power for the last 10 years. The question should not be asked to the opposition right now. The debate should be what is the Modi government delivered upon and what is the Modi government going to do in the next 5 years.
My point is, sir, if I'm looking at an alternative, what are you as an alternative going to do? You are going to say, you are going to grudge me my merit, you are going to take away whatever me, Dr. Ranganathan, Abhijit Iyer Mitra or Rohan Mitra earns just because you have done it by the dint of your hard work, but you are earning more than somebody else, so I've got to take your money and give it to somebody who's not on the basis of merit. Not on the basis of merit, but on the basis of them being of a religious denomination.
Anand,
so have you touched the Waqf Act? Have you touched the Waqf land? 9.4 lakh acres of land, sir. Gross mismanagement. Imagine what can be done if that Waqf land is actually reappropriated. The Waqf properties are reappropriated among the Pashtundas. Which Congress manifesto talks about it? Interest of minorities. Have you said this Waqf Act 1995 needs to go?
Why has the BJP not taken this step?
No,
for the
I'm
last
asking
few
you,
years to do this?
you brought it, sir.
It's not my prerogative to answer each and every
Sir,
question.
the Congress
It
is
our
claiming that
prerogative
we are the
stand.
champions for the minority, or that means the Muslims, the second largest majority
It
of
is
this
not
country, who
just
they
the
still believe
minority,
they are a
does not
minority.
mean the Muslims of
Have you
India,
mentioned anything for Parsis,
the
the
Jains
true
of India
minorities in our
also come
country?
under the
Parsis,
minority of
any
India.
plan for them? Sikhs, any
Absolutely.
plan for them?
Congress-
Jains, any plan for them? Bunched up
Absolutely.
minorities,
Jains was
sir.
given a plan.
Muslims should be addressed as second largest majority. You are still addressing them as minorities.
Anand.
Why? Okay, Dr. Ranganathan, moving on. Just opening it up to all the others. Yes, Dr. Ranganathan, this caste class community game. What a tricky, heady cocktail this is.
Good evening. Good evening to my fellow panelists. Look, we have discussed ad nauseum wealth redistribution. We have discussed ad nauseum inheritance tax. Now, if I may, let us turn to the third spear of the Congress trident with which it plans to stab 1 billion Indians, appeasement. And let me clarify, the trident belongs not to the Hindu god Shiva, but to the Roman god Neptune, befitting Congress. Anand, right since this nation's pulse was controlled by Mahatma Gandhi, we have witnessed minority appeasement, sometimes as virtue signaling, at other times as placation of victimhood. And as always is the tragic outcome. The Hindus have suffered. From Khilafat movement to Rangila Rasool to Article 35A to reforming only Hindu practices through Hindu code bills to school curriculum to Hajj subsidy to ignoring Child Marriage Act to Shah Bano to the Waqf Act to the Places of Worship Act to the RTE Act to the Communal Bill. Every single time the minority has been appeased, it has only emboldened them for further blackmail at an enormous cost for their own community. What is worse, it has made our prime ministers to go on and declare that minorities, particularly the Muslims, have the first claim to resources. Yet they continue to ride the appeasement horse and accuse Modi of communalism. Anand, I will either have a divided India or a destroyed India, had screamed Jinnah. While he managed the former, the Congress is intent upon managing the latter, because appeasement doesn't encourage welfare. Appeasement encourages warfare, and this time the Congress has yet again gone too far. Let me explain. Backward classes are grouped under category 1, most backward, category 2A, relatively more backward, category 2B, more backward, category 3A, backward, and category 3B, relatively backward. There are as many as 36 Muslim communities already that get reservations under categories 1 and 2A. And in 1995, the Devagowda government gave 4% blanket reservation to all Muslims under 2B as well. It was only in 2023 that the BJP government scrapped this 4% quota for Muslims under 2B. Matter is pending before the Supreme Court. That has stayed the BJP decision. And now the Congress government has reinstated this very quota, saying that all Muslims can avail of this quota. Thing is, as backward class commission is now protesting, why then are Muslims also placed under the other two categories? Please remember that the Supreme Court, through a 9-judge bench judgment, has fixed the upper limit of reservations to 50%, 15% for SC, 7.5% for ST, and 27.5% for the OBCs. This is separate from the 10% reservation quota for the economically weaker section. Yes, Muslim classes have previously also been included in the OBC quota in not only Karnataka, but in every state. Yes, BJP governments, two BJP governments have withstood this, that all Muslims are given reservations under 2B. But to say that every Muslim of Karnataka yet again belongs to backward class and can now avail of reservations is just bizarre and makes a mockery of the real purpose of why we have reservations in the first place. And the fact that we were all right for this for 30 years, including, as I said, two BJP governments in Karnataka. This is simply bizarre and unacceptable.
See, if you're looking at class, that means education and your economic ability. That means if you are backward, you don't have money and you are not educated. That should apply to anybody and everybody. How does that feature a Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Jain, Parsi, whoever it is, Sikh, whoever it is? You should just have a simple pad. Either you are educated or you're not. Either you have money or you don't. If you are not educated, if you don't have money, then you should get a particular quota and you should be. So it's purely a have and have not game. Why bring in caste and community? Then let everybody sit down and say, let's have 50% reservation for the economically weaker sections. That is what it is. That's the whole idea. Why break? And the other thing, if you are identified by caste, then how can you be identified by community? If the class identification is supposed to be for those who do not have money, then it cannot be broad brushing Muslims. It has to be, again, there has to be an economic qualification there. Muslims who are making money should not be part of this quota category. Just like we have a creamy layer problem in the Hindu groups and in the caste groups. It's the same thing.
Brilliantly said, Anand, but if I may take 5 more seconds, I can understand Devagowda government wanted to appease the Ashrafs and that's how brought in all Muslims under 2B. I can understand that. I can understand that the Congress government maintained the same. But please somebody tell me, why did 2 BJP governments also accept all Muslims under 2B? Until Bomai government scrapped it in 2023. For 30 years, including 2 BJP governments, were fine with it. Why?
No, yeah, and the other thing is this inheritance, the inheritance come under. Because you've already put all the Ashrafs into the backward class category. So you can't have the inheritance applied to them. You can't have wealth tax and inheritance tax applied to them because they are already in the backward class category, irrespective of how much money they make. What a brilliant game this is. Sardar RP Singh, would you want to answer this?
Well, I accept that we took it late, but yes, it is our government which went to the Supreme Court and went for the scrapping of it. But let me show you. I was showing you a paper. There's a special subsidy for 3 lakh rupees, 50% subsidy for auto for Muslims in Karnataka, and there's an ad by the Karnataka government which states that. So, going to any extent, I have nothing else against the community. I mean, we should do whatever we can do best. When Prime Minister announces 55 crore Ayushman card or 10 crore the gas connections or 4 crore houses, but it doesn't categorize that, okay, just only for Hindu and Muslims. They are equally beneficial or probably they take more benefit also. But when you do this, you are trying to tinker with the social fabric also. As
not just social fabric. You are trying to say
कि
अगर गरीब मुसलमान है तो उसको हेल्प करना चाहिए, पर गरीब अगर हिंदू है या गैर मुसलमान है तो उसको हेल्प नहीं करेंगे. What logic is this? This is open appeasement that's happening. Javed Ansari. No, 1 minute. Javed Ansari. If somebody is poor, they are poor. If somebody is uneducated, they are uneducated. Why break it down in caste and community? Is this not appeasement? Then what is? And secondly, should Muslims be proud that they are the second largest majority in our country? Or should they be happy being broad brushed as minority all the time and bunched with those who are not even 0.2%, 1% of this country's population?
Well, that is a question which can be answered, which can be argued. But certainly, let me state at the very outset, I am against this principle of reservation based on religion, whether it is for the Muslim community, the Christians, or for anybody. As it is, this question of reservations needs to be looked at once again. Caste, the very purpose that it was meant for, appears to have been, appears to have been circumvented. Some castes, whether it is amongst Muslims or amongst Hindus, appear to have appropriated, have walked away with most of the benefits, where the ones who actually needed help are still struggling, the ones at the bottom of the ladder. So as far as reservations, and that too, especially religious-based reservations is concerned, I am totally against it. If my voice has any weight, then I am totally against it.
Sir, everybody's voice matters. I'm sorry I'm interrupting you. Would you also agree then that it has to be clear distinction between haves and have-nots? If you do not
the only basis for reservation should be economic backwardness. Irrespective of which caste you belong to, which religion you belong to, if you're poor, if you're educationally backward, if you're economically backward, you need help. I don't need help. I come from a relatively privileged background. I don't need help. I haven't availed of any benefits that may be there for Muslims. I don't need a religion. I don't need economic help by, it's the people at the bottom of the ladder, whether it is the maid Kamla Devi who works in my house,
absolutely,
or my driver or the other. They are the ones who need it. Whether she's a Muslim or a Hindu, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Absolutely.
It should only be economics should be the criteria, nothing else.
But none of the political parties are openly advocating it. None of them are saying 50% reservation, let's let it just be the
I
economic
just,
poorer class.
I just heard Prime Minister Modi the other day in an interview to somebody explaining this question. He says, look, the Muslims are getting it. You know, हमारे गुजरात में, हमारे राज्य में, and he listed about 27 or 28 Muslim castes मिल रहा है. Even he didn't.
But he has on record come out and said that eventually there are only two classes of people, haves and have-nots. The haves have to help the have-nots, and we need to move to a system where we have this classification very clear purely on your socio-economic status. Abhijit Iyer Mitra, if you're still with us, we've lost him for the moment. This is where I'm coming, Rohan Mitra. The accusation of the Prime Minister is that the Congress is openly, blatantly, brazenly only wooing certain sections of society and certain communities. It is continuing to go ahead and tell the Muslims, you need help, I'm the only one who will help you, this is how I'll help you and I'll openly appease you. You give me your votes and I'll give you this quota and I'll give you that quota because you're still weak, you're still backward, you're still not able to stand on your own. But that's not the truth.
Anand, I mean, the Prime Minister is free to convey whatever message he wants because that's his job. He wants to win this election. Coming back to your main point, I was listening to Mr. Ranganathan very well. See, the point is, let's accept it. Country, any political party needs numbers, the majority, right? So if you're going to accuse the Congress of Muslim appeasement, the minority appeasement, how does it help the Congress come to power in a majority-dominated country? The Congress's Nyaya Patra does not distinguish between religion, doesn't distinguish at all. The Congress, what it's saying is Nyaya Patra, you can break it down and you can bring it into different aspects, you can interpret it in the various ways. But the major point is, we are talking about giving jobs to young people who have an undergrad degree or a diploma degree. We are talking about giving money to the lady who runs the house so that, that their kids can go out there and look for jobs. We are talking about increasing the Manrega wages. We are talking about giving, legal MSP guarantee. These are the things we are talking about. The Prime Minister,
why are you saying that we will give specific quotas, specific jobs only to Muslims? And even if you're doing it, why haven't you mentioned which are the backward sects of Muslims? Who are the Pasmandas? Why is it that it's a broad brushing of the Ashrafs and the Pasmandas and Muslims is all one again together? I'll forget the 72 sects, etc. But when it comes to Hindus, then it is all broken down into different castes, sub-castes and other castes. So is that not a brazen game of divide and rule, sir? Why is it that your minority patra does not mention the various sects of Christians who are actually being branded as Dalit Christians and others and who are again one on the bottom rung of the ladder among the Christian sect system? Why is it that you tom-tommed and broke down Sikhi also and called your Chief Minister a Dalit Sikh? At that time, didn't you play a divide and rule caste card within the Sikhs? But that's suddenly gone. What about the Dalit Sikhs? You made a Dalit Sikh a chief minister and you are saying, listen, we made a Dalit Sikh a chief. You brought Dalit and this entire caste graving even into the Sikhism when it came to your political advantage. And then you forgot about it.
Anand, let me answer this. Anand, the Congress has been the biggest. The Congress has lost out most to the caste politics. Where were these questions?
So why is it not there in your manifesto that we will if we come to power, we will abolish all reservation and make it 50% reservation on socio-economic status?
When the whole movement...
If you really want to do Nyaya, do it like that, sir. That's social justice.
Anand, the answer to your question is very simple. The Congress is asking that once the voter decides to vote, these are the grounds...
Rohan, I am asking you. Rohan, irrespective of whether my name is Anand Narsimhan, Anand Yadav, Anand Mishra, whatever my name is, how does it matter, or Anand Jacob, how does it matter what my caste is? Should not my income and my background, my ability to pay for my education matter? Should I be denied a quota because I am a Brahmin, and should you be allowed a quota because you are a Muslim or you are a Christian, but you are wealthy and I am not?
Anand,
how is that okay? Even among Muslims, an Ashrafi, somebody who is elite, who is rich, who does not need a quota is being put under backward class. Why? Aren't you creating social inequity again?
Anand,
then if you really want to break it down, then break it down and say only these castes and only with a certain income or without a certain income. You have not put the income class anywhere, sir. In any quota, the income ceiling is not there. If you earn more than 10 lakh rupees per annum, you are not eligible for a quota.
Anand,
whatever the number, let's debate and discuss that number.
Going very deep dive. You're going to
No, sir. This is what is creating the inequity. Because then you're telling me, Rohan, you're telling me, I am broad brushing you as a community and putting you in a backward class. Then I'm going to say, I'm going to bring an inheritance, inheritance tax, and that inheritance tax will be applicable only to the general quota. Because everybody else is already decided in the other quotas. So the general quota of 50%, which includes largely Hindu caste and Hindu upper caste, they will be the ones who will have to pay this inheritance money. Why? Because you will not come under the inheritance clause because you are already backward class. You are already OBC.
Judgment based on the 50-page.
No, look at how the construct is, sir. Look at how the construct is. My X-ray is not for those who are under the quotas. Is your X-ray for all those, for everybody, anybody and everybody? Is your X-ray for a farmer who earns 20 crore per annum? Is your X-ray for a rich farmer? Is your X-ray for an Arthia? Will you take that financial survey X-ray to those people?
Without an X-ray, how will you know who's standing where?
That's exactly what I'm asking you. Will you take the X-ray in that direction, or you will say, "Arey, wo to kisan hai, let's not go that direction. Wo OBC hai, let's not go in that direction. Wo SC ST hai, let's not go in that direction." So which direction will I go? Only towards those who are in the general quota.
Without taking into account.
Look at the big divide and gap. Sir, everything is interconnected. Everything is interconnected. Dr. Ranganathan, agree, disagree, sir?
Anand, I really pity for my good friend Rohan. Galti Rahul kiya, phas bechara Rohan gaya. Let me explain. You see, it's been a month since the Congress manifesto came out. Just one example of a promise that that the manifesto promises, which is it will deposit, no questions asked, 1 lakh rupees into the account of every woman belonging to a poor household. Now, any sensible party, I'm not saying Congress is not full of sensible people, of course it is, would have used this 1 month to come up with a figure. How much will it cost the exchequer? What constitutes as a poor household? I'm still waiting. Rohan, I'm still waiting for the one word figure. How much is it going to cost?
Yeah, I'm just going to quickly check if Abhijit Iyer Mitra is back with us.
How much?
Can I answer that? For the women, okay, I'm going to answer all the three. For the, for the students who are going to get their stipends of 1 lakh, the exchequer is going to cost 10,000 crores. For the women, it's going to cost 10,000 crores, and for the farmers, it's going to be 2 lakh crores, which is the same amount which the capitalists were given.
No,
you allow me. Just 10,000 crores for depositing 1 lakh rupees in the account of every woman belonging to every poor household in India. Just 10,000 crores. Are you kidding me?
That is the number. No, that is the number we've come up with. Now
how many poor households are there? Fine. How many poor households are there?
The assumption is 10,000 crores for the women.
No,
10,000 crores.
No, how are you justifying this number?
How many poor households?
1 lakh rupees. 1 lakh rupees in the account of how many women, sir, is equal to 10,000 crores?
This is the assumption we are working under.
No. What kind, sir?
Assumption we are working under.
Assumption should not make an ass of you and me, sir. When you assume, sir, it should not make an ass of you. What is the number that you're looking? With due respect, Rohan, those who are creating wealth for the country, you will not give. Abhijit Iyer Mitra, all the women who are in our country who are ineligible or who are eligible, that amounts to only 10,000 crores, 1 lakh rupees which they'll put in their account, and they will take 2 lakh crores from the money that's been given to the capitalists, and they will put that money straight into all the Kisan's accounts. And they will not ask which Kisan it is. Is it a Kisan who's also an Arthia, who's also sitting on more than 20 hectares of land? No, that does not matter.
Do you know, Anand, several of the people in the Congress happen to be some of the richest quote-unquote farmers around. I suggest just do an open Google search of who owns what in terms of farming land and see how many of them list themselves as professionals. But Rohan's made several points, Anand. If you allow me, I need to go past them one by one. Because, this entire thing of distribution, this didn't start now. Nehru, Bengal used to be a developed state. Nehru destroyed it piecemeal by all his industrial policy resolutions, starting, of course, from the freight equalization policy and the 1957 industrial policy resolution. Every time anybody made any wealth, it was taken away to be distributed. You know, Rohan asked a very important question. Why are you bringing up things that are not there in the manifesto? I am bringing up the Congress's own record of actions and the speeches of their leaders. So if you'll give me about 2 minutes, right? I remember they had impoverished the country so much, Anand, that my own grandmother in 1962, Vijay Lakshmi Pandit, had come on a collection drive where my grandmother had to remove the gold chain from her Mangal Sutra and donate it for the defense of the country. So please don't tell me that you're not asking for our Mangal Sutra. My own grandmother's gold was given to this Nalayak Sarkar of the Congress to defend this country from the Chinese. Okay, so don't give me this, we never asked for your Mangal Sutra crap. Vijay Lakshmi Pandit came to our street and asked for it. Okay, Nehru's own sister. Who was she? Was she in the Congress? Yes, na? Then who the hell was she? So Congress didn't ask for Mangal Sutra. What nonsense. Next. Merit. They're talking about inheritance, privilege and merit. By what right is Rahul Gandhi sitting where he is? Is he a post holder in the Congress to be sitting and determining Congress policy? Who is the president of the Congress? Mallikarjun Kharge. What is Rahul Gandhi doing sitting and determining policy? They have a little puppet sitting out there and this fellow sitting here. What is his merit, Anand? Zero. What is the redistribution that's going to happen to him? Where is his privilege going to get redistributed to? Nothing, zero. He will stay where he is. All of us will have to give up our privilege. Next, he made a very important point about fact checking. It's very curious that they employ a fact checker who keeps tweeting Hamas propaganda, ISIS propaganda, God knows what else, and their own home minister goes around referring to him as yes boss. Imagine a home minister referring to a Hamas propagandist as yes boss. This is the Congress on National Security. Why? Who is Manmohan Singh? Is he a member of the Congress party? Was he actually the Prime Minister? We all know the cabinet was a secondary tool in those days. The NAC was the real cabinet and Manmohan Singh was the puppet. But even Manmohan Singh, your own puppet Prime Minister, why did he say the terms particularly Muslim? Why does every action since then particularize the Muslims for everything, including the OBC reservation that our friend Anand Ranganathan just raised? Finally, you know, he asked a very good question. What about Jayant Singh? What about Amit Malviya, who deleted his tweet? What about Arun Jaitley? Who is Jayant Sinha today? Where is Amit Malviya today? Is Amit Malviya part of the government? Is Jayant Sinha part of the government? Is Arun Jaitley even alive today? No. But we are talking about a party in Rahul Gandhi where even when the cabinet took a decision, the extra constitutional power of this man was so great that he could just tear up a document and the cabinet would have to change its entire policy. Look at the sheer extra constitutionality of it. So please put this in perspective. Rahul Gandhi saying something is not the same as Arun Jaitley saying something, Jayant Sinha saying something, Amit Malviya saying something. Arun Jaitley may very well have been the finance minister. But I'm sorry, he's never been an extra constitutional authority that can break checks and balances like we've seen repeatedly for Rahul Gandhi, a talentless person who is only floating because of his privilege of his name, who has complete extra constitutional powers, whose mother exercised extra constitutional powers through the NAC, and who himself has on repeated occasions breached party discipline, including, forget party discipline, at least party inke baap ka jaidaad hoga, they can do what they want. Governmental discipline. Humiliated the Prime Minister, my Prime Minister. Who the hell gave him the right to humiliate my Prime Minister? He did that. How dare he take a cabinet document and tear it up? Who gave him the privilege to do that?
Well,
so please spare us this nonsense.
Well, that's what.
Anand, can I just come in with 5 seconds?
Yes, because 5 seconds, yes. And then Javed Ansari, final comment. We got just about 1 minute to go. Yeah.
My good friend Rohan said that the cost, yes. the cost of putting 1 lakh rupees in every woman account from every poor household will be 10,000 crores. That's what Rohan said, and you heard it as well. According to Rohan, then there are only 10 lakh poor women, i.e. only 1 million poor households in India. If this is not congratulatory message for Narendra Modi of having reduced poverty, that there are only 1 million poor households in India. I don't know what is. Congratulations, Rohan.
No, where are they going to take this money? Where are they going to find this money? That answer has been given by Mr. Sam Pitroda. The middle class will have to pay more. They will be taxed more. The middle class will have to pay more taxes. No, they said, Mr. Pitroda has said it. No, middle class will have to bear the burden.
Congress thinks, breaking news is Congress thinks that there are only 1 million poor households in India. Unbelievable.
Okay. I don't want to say beyond this because that's not my commission here on the role that I play. But yes, Sardar RP Singh.
Well, Anand, I still stick on to my point that moment you start providing privileges on basis of religion, that will spoil the socio-cultural fabric of the country. We are suffering this in Punjab, we are suffering this in South also, and then because India won't be India.
Then have the courage, sir, to include it in your manifesto that if you are 400 par, if you do get the mandate from all of Bharat or majority of Bharat, then you will ensure that this entire caste system and community-based quota system that is being practiced across states and across by the centre will be done away with, and you will have 50% reservation for the have-nots, irrespective of whatever their background is. If they are have-nots, decide that amount. 7 lakh, less than 7 lakh rupees per annum, less than 5 lakh rupees per annum, less than 8 lakh, whatever is that number, let's debate on that, get to that number and then do it. Agree, disagree. And Javed Ansari ji, quickly I wanted to understand, this entire wealth tax, inheritance, X-ray, financial survey, are you a votary of it, sir? You're on mute, sir.
I do not think this issue has been thought through. It's one thing to say something and get instant applause, which a lot of politicians are guilty of. This is a far more complex, serious issues, and a lot more thought needs to be applied. You can keep banding about these numbers, but I don't think the Congress party and whoever is brainwave they haven't just thought this through.
Thank you everyone. Thank you very, very much. I'm just going to request Sardar RP Singh and Rohan Mitra to stay on. Dr. Ranganathan, Abhijit Iyer Mitra and Javed Ansari. Thank you very much. We're going to take a very, very short break. When we come back, ladies and gentlemen, here at our CNN News 18 and Federal Bank Primetime studio, we will take you through the developments of the day. The Kong Bastion is going to be challenged. Are Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Vadra heading towards Amethi and Rae Bareli? We'll get you the insights.